Welcome to TYS Reads Poetry, Episode 2. I am Yekie, and it's just me here. From the Take Yourself Seriously podcast, this is the second episode where I'm just reading some work and maybe talking about some creative-focused questions. The stuff that I kind of want to include on here is things that are completely rough draft. They're unedited. I don't even look at them sometimes after I write them. So take everything I read here with a grain of salt. It's very raw. But I do want to perhaps take these works and edit them further, refine them, all that. So here goes nothing. This is called Dusty Books. Books piled high, I'll probably never read, even though you told me to expand my knowledge. As I lifted one up, blew the dust off, it settled in the air, floating up, then spreading out and drifting down, evident that I hadn't touched them for some time. There was Shakespeare and Poe and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, my favorite. As sometimes I feel like Victor, creating a thing that shouldn't exist, yet when I do, the monster runs free, wants to be its own king, and I get smaller and smaller. So I organized the books by ones I'd want to read most, then lay down and fall asleep to the rain hitting the street above my head. That is Dusty Books. A lot of times these actually feel longer than they are, and then when I read them, they're not actually that long. So what do I want to talk about here? Lately I've been thinking about how I stay so focused as a writer, as a creative person, as someone who just wants to express themselves at this point in my life through words, and more specifically through poetry. And to be honest, I really don't have a good answer how I stay focused, because I'm pretty much writing every day, and I don't know why half the time that I do it. It's kind of like just at this point, it's a habit I've built up. I didn't even realize it was building up. But one thing I think has been really important for me is the goal of wanting to submit more work to magazines. That has kind of given me some point where I can have a way to keep myself on track. So I give myself this goal of submitting to 5 magazines a year, and that makes me want to write more. And again, it's a goal that I came up with, so it's not like anybody's forcing me to do this. But I do have to set time aside, and it's easy for me to get caught up in things like the internet and YouTube and social media. It gets pretty distracting, and then I'm at work all day, and that's 8 hours, and by the time I turn around, I haven't written something, and that can be frustrating, but not really, because I'm kind of focused in the unfocused, and that's kind of, I guess, what you have to do. Sometimes being unfocused can help you focus on doing things, because I'm not always writing. I'm drawing sometimes because I just want to be doing something. Also, what I've learned, I've taken some notes from people like Charles Bukowski and Jack Kerouac, and people who kind of take their life experiences and put them on the page. I always thought I had a boring life, so I had to be constantly making things up, making stories up. And while I still love to do that, the title of my journal right now is Some of These Stories Are Fiction, because a lot of times the things I'm writing are just not real, but they kind of are. So I take these experiences and I expand on them, and I combine them. I have several ideas where I take events and experiences and put them with other events and experiences and make that into one complete story and create a character around that. I've taken to realizing that my life doesn't have to be as boring as I say is. I look at the details in what I'm going through, and that's kind of helped me craft a certain way of looking at the world and looking at my life, and my poetry has become very simple in that aspect, which allows me to, come up with things, deeper things, and symbolism and metaphors and all the things that make poetry. And sometimes it really is just about the details in the experience and not about the symbolism. The symbolism comes after. How do you stay focused as a creative person? You remove yourself from art so you can find it again. You step back and it's just what the experience is, as plainly as that. And you don't try to make symbolism or metaphors out of something, because that comes after. And I guess that's the beauty of it, is the decisions you make after you've created it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. That's all.